Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
There's a young politician from Michigan who is promising, I guess, to give us years of entertainment going forward, because what this guy does is so comical that he can't stay out of the news. And so this is a follow-up to a previous story I did, but it's got some new fun facts. And Brad pointed it out to me. Who we're talking about is State Rep Jewel Jones, who is from Inkster, Michigan. And the headline says, update. By the way, this is from the Livingston Daily, also from the Free Press, the paper I delivered as a young man. Representative Jewel Jones arraigned on 2 felonies after bringing handcuff key into jail. Now, there's a lot to unpack there, as I like to say. But you might say, wait, this guy's a politician and he's going into jail. Felonies and handcuff keys, and you might recall he was the one who was arrested on an alcohol driving offense a while back. So let's just start at the beginning here. Jones was charged with 2 felonies after prosecutors say he brought a handcuff key into the Livingston County Jail following court recently. Allegations in this matter allege the defendant taping a handcuff key to the bottom of his foot with clear tape and was found by Livingston County Corrections officers upon his incarceration. That is the chief assistant prosecuting attorney for Livingston County writing in a bond recommendation report. The man was handcuffed and transported to jail Tuesday after Livingston County Judge Michael Hattie revoked his bond after he pled guilty to his 3rd bond violation. So when they release you on bond, you're waiting trial. They often give you conditions and say, along with the fact you'd put money up or get someone to sign something or promise to show up in court, you've also got to comply with certain bond conditions. And he apparently has violated his bond a few times. He was out on bond after being charged with drunk driving. This goes back to April in a town called Fowlerville, which is basically, if you drew a straight line from Detroit to Lansing, Fowlerville is along that path. He's also charged with possession of a weapon while under the influence of alcohol, reckless driving, and 4 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer. So this guy's got the whole smorgasbord going. He's got the whole grab bag. Now, one of his attorneys, and keep in mind, anybody who has a bunch of attorneys working for him has legal troubles greater than the average person. He realizes the seriousness of the allegations, the attorney said during the arraignment. He realizes the seriousness of the allegations. I would hope so. The prosecutor asked for a high cash or surety bond, citing Jones's bond violations and his history. She said, he has shown this court he is not going to follow terms of bond set by this court. He has shown to the court through his actions that he will lie to the court and he will continue to do whatever he wants. Many judges will give you the benefit of the doubt early on. If you're in front of them for the first time, and you've got a clean record, and they say, I'm going to give you a list of things to do. Can you do them? You say yes. You go out, you do them, you're fine. But once you start violating the rules laid down by the judge, that's when they start going, okay, I guess we got to get harsher here because you're not learning. Livingston County Magistrate Jerry Sherwood set Jones bond at $100,000 cash or surety. Also ordered Jones to surrender any police items he might have in his possession, such as handcuff keys, batons, and pepper spray. Livingston County Sheriff Michael Murphy said, this guy's a piece of work. He truly believes he doesn't have to follow the judge's orders and doesn't have to follow rules. He's the reason that politicians and elected officials get a bad rap. The sheriff also said there's no general rule for when those in custody may be handcuffed, and he's not sure why Jones brought the key with him, because apparently he gets handcuffed being taken to jail, but once in jail, they don't leave the handcuffs on you. So sneaking that key into jail, you can speculate on a couple of different reasons why you might do that. One would be because you want to get out of the handcuffs between the courthouse and the jail. Another one is that key might have some value if you brought it to jail and swapped it with somebody who felt they needed it more than you do. That's a possibility too. You could run through unlimited possibilities, he said, but at the end of the day, folks are handcuffed to and from the facility. If someone has a handcuff key, that's a bad day for us. Prosecutors filed a motion to revoke Jones's bond earlier this month after he tested positive for alcohol 3 times on September 3rd. He was wearing an alcohol tether, which will measure transdermal alcohol concentration levels. And according to his alcohol tether, he was at 023 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon about. He was at 023 at about 4:30 in the afternoon. And at 022 at 7:09 on September 3rd. So he apparently had been told as part of his probation, he had apparently been told as part of his bond he was not supposed to drink. Do not drink. And the allegation is that he's wearing a device that measures whether or not he's got alcohol in his system, as measured through a transdermal alcohol concentration level tester of some sort. And he was showing readings of alcohol. And again, that's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 4:30, and then 7 o'clock at night. That's a whole day there. Well, half a day. But they also allege that he attempted to tamper with the tether by sliding a sock underneath it in an attempt to keep it from getting those transdermal alcohol concentration level readings. And tampering with a tether, as you can imagine, is also not a good thing. He pleaded guilty to 2 previous bond violations since charges were filed in April. In June, he pleaded guilty to a bond violation after leaving military training without notifying his attorney or court officials. And Livingston County District Judge Daniel Bain ordered Jones to have an alcohol monitor placed on his ankle following the first violation. And in full disclosure here, I'll tell you that I do, in fact, know Daniel Bain. He was an attorney in Oakland County for many years before he became a judge. And he actually lived near me. And I actually mountain bike on a path that his backyard abutted up against. One of those great coincidences in life. Very, very nice guy. Very nice guy. Jones failed to pay the July 8th invoice for the device, a Livingston County probation officer said during a second bond violation hearing. And at that hearing, the judge ordered Jones to pay a $1,000 fine. And again, when they put you under these conditions, and they say, for instance, we're going to put you on a tether, they'll say, and you're going to pay for the tether. Now, if you don't want to do that, people are going to say, Steve, that's so unfair. No, if you want to, you can sit in jail until your trial. And they're saying if you want to get out, we're going to let you out with some conditions. And since it's an alcohol-related offense, we're going to put a tether on you, make sure you don't drink alcohol. And it's a good thing they did because it turns out he can't stop, and now they know. Jones is scheduled to appear in front of Hattie for a pretrial hearing in the coming days. So again, this is a state representative named Jewel Jones. He's from Inkster, Michigan. It's a suburb of Detroit in Wayne County. And he was originally a foul of the law while driving near Fowlerville, Michigan. That works out. And I believe he's the one who made national headlines because he suggested to the police officer that you don't want to do this because I'm friends with the governor, and he dropped the governor's name as if it was like a mic drop on a, comedy show. And the police officer kind of looked at him and said, and proceeded to process him. And so since that time, he's had a whole bunch of other problems. And that's the thing, and I've been practicing law for 30 years in Michigan. And I've been in court a lot. I've been in court a lot with my own clients, and I've also been in court with my clients waiting for stuff to happen and watching other people go through the system. And it's not everybody who goes into the system and gets stuck there. Most people who get a first offense drunk driving get a bunch of things told they got to do this, got to do that, and they do it perfectly. And they get out at the other end, they've learned a lesson. That is actually a majority of the people that I've seen with my own eyes. Once in a while, you see somebody who gets into the system, and it's not because this is like, the trial of Franz Kafka. This is because this is a person who doesn't understand the gravity of the situation and doesn't realize that the people they're dealing with are as smart as they are, if not smarter. And a lot of people go into the system and go, oh, I can outsmart these people. I'm smarter than these people. When you are a probation officer or a judge or a police officer or a magistrate or somebody who's been working in the system for 30 years, and someone comes along, and it's a young man who thinks he's smart, and he comes along and he thinks, I can pull one over on these people. And he doesn't. And then it makes things worse. And the best thing for him to have done is when he got pulled over, the night he got pulled over, he should have just cooperated with the police officer, not threatened to call people in higher positions of power to get the cop fired or anything like that. Cooperated with him, shown up in court, and done everything the judge asked him to do. Do it properly, and you're in and out of the system fairly quickly. This guy right here keeps messing up and making it to where he's in the system longer and longer and longer. And he's getting probation violation fines and such. Those things only happened because he screwed up. If he had simply gone into the system and followed instructions, he would have gone in on a first offense, drunk driving, boom, 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 would have been done. But instead, here we are still talking about him, and we're talking about the fact that he got caught trying to smuggle a handcuff key into a jail, taped to the bottom of his foot. Now, I can imagine the moment where he's got his bare foot up and he's got a handcuff key and he's got the roll of masking tape, or I guess it was clear tape. He's got the tape out. He's taping this thing to the bottom of his foot, and he feels like he's, like Houdini, right? He's figured out how to beat the system. And then fast forward a couple hours where there's a sheriff's deputy looking at the bottom of his foot going, hey, what's that? And you realize that wasn't that bright of a plan. Okay, so this is crazy. But here's my concern. I would like this guy to get his act together, get out of the system, and go to Lansing and do his job. He's a state rep. He's got important business in Lansing. He should go do it. I'd also like to see him where he's not drinking and driving and he's not being a scofflaw. I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to never hear from this guy again except for the occasion where it says somebody introduced legislation and it was co-sponsored by this guy. Or legislation got passed, good laws, this guy's one of the guys who voted for it. I'd like to see that. I'd love to see that. I wish things, unfortunately, and I'm going to make a bold prediction here because I am like Nostradamus, only I'm more accurate. I'm going to make the prediction right now that somewhere down the road, I'm going to have another story about this guy doing something stupid, smuggling something into jail, doing something crazy in the courtroom. It just seems inevitable. It seems inevitable. It's low-hanging fruit for me to say that. It's just such an easy call to make. I will be talking about Representative Jewel Jones again, but this time we're talking about him because he was arraigned on 2 felonies for bringing a handcuff key into jail and other faults. From the Free Press and the Livingston Daily, Kayla Doherty wrote it. Brad sent it to me. Thanks a lot. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Life isn't a matter of milestones, but of moments.